Students, I welcome all of you once again to the second revision session of lesson number 3, diversity in living thing and their classification. I hope so you remember whatever concept we have learnt in the last lecture. Let's recall once again whatever we have learnt. In the last revision session, we learned that there are three types of the plant depending upon the mode of the nutrition. There are many type of the plant who prepare their own food. So those plant who prepare their own food, we call them as what? Autotrophic plant. And again, on the other hand, there are certain plant who cannot prepare their own food and they depend upon other plant. So such plants we call them as what? Heterotrophic plant. And at the same time, there are certain variety of the plants who eat insect as the food material. So those plant we call them as what? Insectivorous plant. Understood? And most of the time plants are again divided into three types depending upon their size. So if you remember, we learnt about the tree, shrub and herbs. Trees are taller as compared to the shrub. Shrub are taller as compared to the herb, and herb are the small size of the plant. They are up to only 1 to 1.5 meter, that's all. And most importantly, again we learnt about the about wine also. So wine, for example money plant, they require the support for their growth and development. So wine is again one of the variety of the plant as well. So today again we are going to classify the plant depending upon their period of their life cycle. So depending upon the period of the life cycle, here you can see that plants are again divided into three types. Here you can see that annuals, biennials and the perennials. Now what do you exactly mean by all these things? Let's see that once again. So you know that there are certain plants like jawar, sunflower, etc. So there are many variety of the plant like them. They complete their growth and development within 1 year. So those plant who complete their life cycle within 1 year, such type of the plant we call them as what? Annual plant. What we call them? Annual plant. And at the same time there are many variety of the plants like you can say carrot, beetroot. They complete their life cycle within 2 years. That means they require 2 years for their growth and development. So such variety of the plant we call them as what? Biennial plants. Understood? And at the same time here you can see that the shrubs like hibiscus and the oleander, and one of the thing like the trees like mango and gulmohar, they live or they survive for many years, and for many years they bear flowers and the fruits. So those plant who survive for many years, those type of the plant we call them as what? Perennial plant. Understood? So here we had learnt about the three type of the plant: annual plant, biennial plant and the perennial plant. I hope so you understood what do you mean by exactly all these three types. And student, you know that most of the time insects are attracted towards the flower to collect the nectar. So there are many variety of the plant, like you can see that some plant bear the flower and some plant never bear the flower. So depending upon the presence and the absence of the flower, here you can see that we divided plants again into two variety: the flowering plant and the non-flowering plant. So what do you exactly mean by the flowering plant? The plants that bear flower are called as what? Flowering plants. And what do you mean by non-flowering plant? The plant that never bear flowers, such variety of the plant we call them as what? Non-flowering plant. So you know that the world's largest flower, it is found in Indonesia. And what is that name of the flower? The name of the plant is that, here you can see that Rafflesia arnoldi. Rafflesia arnoldi, it is the name of the plant. It is the name of the plant who bear the flower which is world's largest, and usually it is found only in the Indonesia. And do you know that the length of this flower, it is how much? The length of the flower is 1 meter. Can you imagine? It is that much giant. And again, on the other hand, there is world's smallest flower. The world's smallest flower, it belongs to the plant. Here you can see that Wolffia and duckweed. It's hardly, you can see that 0.5 millimeter. 0.5 millimeter means you can even take on the fingertip as well. So Wolffia and the Rafflesia arnoldi, they are the world's smallest and largest flower respectively. So do remember this. Okay. And again, here you can see that we see different variety of the plant in our surrounding, and again we classified the plant depending upon their habitat. What do you mean by habitat? Habitat means what? The place where the plants can grow. The place where plants grow, that particular place we call it as what? Habitat. So according to the habitat, the plants again divided into 5 variety. So there are basically 5 habitats of the plant where they can grow. So here you can see that land, water, marshy areas, desert and big trees. So these are the places where plants usually grow. You have observed that on land usually most of the plants grow. Lotus usually grows in the water. Am I right? And even in the marshy areas most of the plants grow. Cactus usually grows in the desert area. Am I right? And there are certain small plants who grow on the trunk of the other tall plants. So these are the habitat where the plants usually grow. So what are the habitats of the plants, students? Land, water, marshy area, desert and the big tree. These are the habitats of the flower and the plant. And as we spoke about just now about the diversity in the plant, this same variety of the diversity we can even see in the animal category also. So you know that there are many type of the animal who have different shape, who have different size, who have different type of the food material. Even there are many type of the animal who have the different mode of the reproduction as well. So there are certain animal also who live on the land. There are certain type of the animal who live in water. There are many type of the animal who can fly very easily. So there are many type of the animal we can found in our surrounding, we can found in our environment. So here in case of the animal also we see a lot of diversity. So as we learnt about the diversity in the plant, we are going to learn about the diversity in animal as well. So you know that, student, the body structure of the animal to animal, it also differs. So there are many type of the animals like amoeba and the paramecium. We cannot see with our naked eyes. If we want to see them, we have to use the microscope. Am I right? So amoeba and paramecium, they are unicellular animal. They are what? Unicellular animal, because they are made up of only single cell. Understood? And on the other hand, like you can see that the horse, bear, tortoise, fish, tiger and even we human being, we all are multicellular animal. What do you mean by multicellular animal? The animals who are made up of many cells. That means, in simple word, multicellular animal we can see with our eyes. So whatever animal we can see, those all are multicellular animal. And those animal which we cannot see, they are the unicellular. Understood? So this is the basic difference between the multicellular animal and the unicellular animal. And as we are multicellular, we can walk straight, we can do any type of, we have the body posture straight. So this straight body structure, it is because of the chain of the bone which is present in our back. So can you see that here, the chain of the bone which is present in our back? So this chain of the bone which is present in our back, we call it as what? Vertebral column. So because of the vertebral column, our body posture is straight. Understood, student? So vertebral column is very important to give support to our body. And do you know that this vertebral column, it is not found in all type of the animal. There are certain animal who have the vertebral column, and there are certain animal who do not have the vertebral column. So depending upon vertebral column, we classified animals again into two groups, vertebrates and invertebrates. Now what do you mean by vertebrate? Vertebrate means what? Animals with vertebral column. Animals with vertebral column, we call them as what? Vertebrates. So what are the example of the vertebrates? Snake, birds, fish, kangaroos, and again human beings. We all are the vertebrates because we have the backbone. Okay. And again at the same time, the animals without vertebral column. The animals without vertebral column, we call them as what? Invertebrates. So what are the example of the invertebrate animal? Snails, cockroaches and earthworm. Snail, cockroaches, earthworm, they all are the example of the invertebrates because they do not have the backbone. Understood? And most importantly, you all have already learnt about the reproduction process. So what is the meaning of reproduction? Producing the same type of the living thing like oneself. So like I told you already, the dog will reproduce to the puppies, cat will reproduce to the kittens, hen will reproduce to the hen only, chicken only, human being will reproduce to the human being. So that means what? Producing the another individual like ourselves only, we call it as what? Reproduction process. So again, depending upon the mode of the reproduction, these animals again divided into two types. Here you can see that oviparous animal and viviparous animal. What are the two types? Oviparous animal and viviparous animal. Understood? So what do you mean by oviparous animal? You know that there are many variety of the animals like hen. Okay, they lays the eggs, and after laying the eggs, after hatching them from the egg, the young one will come out. Am I right? So here you can see that the young one is coming out from the egg. Understood? So those animal who lay the eggs, those animal who lay the eggs, and after hatching them the new individual comes out. So this type of the animal we call them as what? Oviparous animal. What we call them as? Oviparous. So did you understand what do you mean by oviparous animal? So the animal who lays the eggs, they are called as what? Oviparous animal. And there are many type of the animal who do not lay the eggs. So there are many type of the animal who directly give birth to their young one. So those animal who directly give birth to the young one, they are called as what? Viviparous animal. So like you know that cow reproduces the calf directly. Am I right? And human being also reproduces the human being directly. Dog reproduces the puppies directly. Cat reproduces the kitten directly. So those animal who give birth to their young one directly, they are called as what? Viviparous animal. I hope so. Now you understood the difference between the oviparous animal and viviparous animal. And again, last but not least, we classified the animal again depending upon their habitat. Habitat means what? The place where animals live and the place where animals survive. So here you can see that we classified animal depending upon their mode of living. So first one, here you can see that the terrestrial animal, aquatic animal, amphibious animal and the aerial animal. Now what do you mean by terrestrial animal? The animals who lives on the land. The animals who lives on the land, they are called as what? Terrestrial animal. What do you mean by aquatic animal? the animals like fish, and then you can see that now there are many variety of the shark, fish, okay, so they live in the water, right? So those animal who lives in the water, they are called as what? Aquatic animal. Understood? And again students, let me tell you that there are certain animals like frog. There are certain animals like frog, they live in the both. Frog lives in water as well as on the land, correct? So those animal who lives in water and land, they are called as what? Amphibious animal. What we call them as? Amphibious animal. Understood? And at the same time, there are birds. Birds can fly, am I right? So those animal who can fly very easily, but they can live at the different places. But those animal who can fly, we call them as what? Aerial animal. What we call them as? Aerial animal. So here you can see that according to the habitat of the animal, we classified them into four variety: terrestrial animal, aquatic animal, amphibious animal, and the aerial animal. I hope so you understood whatever concept we have learned just now. So here we completed the lesson number 3, diversity in living things and their classification. So what we have learned so far in this topic? We learned that the plants are classified on the basis of their height and the shape of the stem, period of their life cycle, and the habitat, etc. Understood? And at the same time, even the animals are classified depending upon the cell structure, vertebral column, method of reproduction, and the habitat. Okay, so here you can see that there are a lot of diversity we can see among the animals and among the plant as well. So in the living world, a lot of diversity is seen in animals as well as in the plants. But every plant and the animal, it is unique. So there are many type of the animals and the plant, they have their unique feature which is not commonly found in the other plant and the animal. So we should all make effort to conserve this diversity in the living thing. Understood? We don't have to destroy any type of the plant. We don't have to destroy any type of the animal as well. We have to protect them. We have to preserve them. Because diversity is important for our environment and for our survival also. Understood, student? So here we completed the revision part of lesson number 3, diversity in living things and their classification. Bye. Take care.